Did you know that Gerrit Cole grew up a lifelong Yankees fan? But outside of being a fan, he was a great player at the high school level. In 2008, Gerrit Cole was a first-round pick to the Yankees without even going to college. Brian Cashman at the time said, "I knew that it was going to be a tough sign, but we were also told in pre-draft meetings with the family that he was willing to play pro ball and skip college. We rolled the dice and took our chances." But believe it or not, Gerrit Cole ended up declining their contract offer and he enrolled into UCLA. He was more so known as a quiet guy with a good work ethic, and at the time, he had a teammate at UCLA who was a polar opposite of Gerrit Cole. That teammate was the one and only Trevor Bauer. He was known as a passionate but cocky player with a questionable work ethic. Gerrit Cole eventually had enough of Bauer and he went off on him, telling Bauer straight to his face that he has no future in baseball, and he even called Bauer out on his poor work ethic. But there was one common trait within Cole and Bauer. They were able to raise the ceiling for each other just by pitching alongside one another. And in 2011, they were both drafted, with Gerrit Cole being the very first pick in the draft, and Bauer being the very third pick in the draft. Both of them actually wanted to be Yankees, but unfortunately, neither of them were drafted to New York. Cole was drafted to the Pirates, while Bauer was drafted to the Diamondbacks. While they may have had their differences in college, both of them would end up being future Cy Young winners, except each of their paths were both very different. Trevor Bauer came up in 2012, and we got to see our first glimpse of what he had to offer. In his debut game against the Braves, he went 4 innings, giving up 2 runs. It was a very small sample size, but it was still nice. In 74 pitches thrown in that game, 42 of them were strikes. But his debut was not the highlight of that game. The true highlight was the controversy that came after it. His pregame workout was actually the thing that stirred controversy. It was known as his long toss routine. He did it for an entire hour, and after that hour, he was drenched in sweat by the time that he had to pitch. And this led to one of his teammates being very displeased with Trevor Bauer, which made the locker room morale a lot worse. They proceeded to trade Trevor Bauer after the season to the Cleveland Indians. This would become his new home for 7 seasons. It was filled with a lot of stuff, from controversy to lowlights to highlights. He actually injured himself before an ALCS start while attempting to fix his drone. His drone cut him, and his start was delayed by 1 game. But if there were 2 words to describe his Indians tenure, it would be underwhelming and developing. Because while it may have been underwhelming, he still developed at a really high level. His first 5 seasons with the team, he had an average ERA of 4.49, but in 2018 and 2019, he showcased how elite of a pitcher that he actually is. If it wasn't for him being hit with a line drive in 2018 and getting injured, he probably could have actually won the Cy Young. His 2019 ended up going really well with Cleveland, but he was shipped off at the trade deadline over to the Cincinnati Reds. And at this point in his career, his perceived reputation was that he was controversial and he did not get along with everyone that he played with, but he was at least good. But it did not help his cause in 2019 because he struggled really bad with Cincinnati, putting up a 6.59 ERA in 10 starts. He was not a happy man, but he ended up taking full accountability. And he made sure to let the fans know that Trevor Bauer would be back and that he would be better than ever. 2020 Trevor Bauer was Cy Young Trevor Bauer. In 11 starts, he put together a 1.73 ERA. While, yes, it was a short sample size because of the pandemic, you could still definitely tell that he had blossomed. Luckily for Bauer, he was a free agent after 2020. He got himself a payday with the LA Dodgers on a 3-year, $102 million deal. This was life-changing for Bauer, and he attempted to make the best of it, showing off a 2.59 ERA through 17 starts. It seemed like Cy Young Trevor Bauer was not a one-hit wonder. People were correct. He had truly blossomed into a star. And then, a woman came along. He slept with her, and her name was Lindsey Hill. She accused him of sexual assault. He later received the largest suspension in MLB history for a player with a domestic violence case. only for evidence to come out in 2023 that he was actually framed by this woman and that it was consensual. So he was never found guilty in this case, so overall, he was framed. He was later accused by 3 other women of sexual assault, who did not have any logical evidence that he actually did anything. As these matters were being resolved over the course of a few years, he waited and he waited. 2023 was gonna be the year that he got back into baseball, except this time, it wasn't gonna be an MLB. Bauer was gonna be pitching in Japan, and it's safe to say that it ended up working out really well. He put up a 2.76 ERA and 130 innings. He currently seeks an MLB comeback, and this is where Gerrit Cole comes in. Because as we all know, Gerrit Cole did not have quite the journey that Trevor Bauer did. Gerrit was able to translate quickly into the league, with an average ERA of 3.52 in his first 5 years. But that's not to say that his first 5 years were perfect. Being a part of the Pittsburgh Pirates organization, Cole had to endure a lot of incompetence. While he may have been good statistically, he wasn't great. He wasn't going out and winning a Cy Young every year, and with his standards, that was a problem. And the reason for that is because the Pirates front office wanted Gerrit Cole and every other pitcher to be a contact pitcher. They made him throw his sinkers 17% of the time, and it was arguably his worst pitch. So instead of utilizing an elite fastball and elite curveball, they said, why not use your below average sinker and get weak contact? Obviously, this plan did not work to fruition like Pittsburgh thought that it would. When he was traded away from the team and made his debut with the Astros, we saw a new player. He barely threw a sinker, and he had back-to-back 2 ERA seasons in 2018 and 2019. But 2019 was certainly the more memorable season, because Houston was winning a lot. And in 2019, he got to face the Yankees in the ALCS, his favorite childhood team. In Game 3 of the ALCS, he pitched 7 innings with 0 earned runs. Houston in the end did beat New York, and they went on into the World Series. While they may have lost the World Series, there was another major topic of discussion. Gerrit Cole was about to be a free agent for the first time in his career. Everyone expected the New York Yankees, the team that he just demolished in the ALCS, to be all over him. The Yankees realized that if you can't beat him, make him join you. General manager Brian Cashman had obviously been very high on Cole for a long time. And I mean, hey, that's why he tried to draft him in 2008. He saw the vision. Ultimately, Cashman got his guy in free agency, and they did sign Gerrit Cole to a 9-year, $324 million deal. The lifelong Yankees fan could now pursue his dream of playing with the team. While there have been some wrinkles along the way, it's safe to say that New York does not regret signing Gerrit Cole. He's been great and he's been healthy. He's done almost everything correctly. All of his haters said that he needed sticky foreign substances to be an elite pitcher with New York. So what does he do in 2023? He wins his first Cy Young in his entire career, and he had no sticky stuff involved. As great as an accomplishment that was for him, the Yankees still did not feel like the Yankees. They were an 82-win team, and they're held to higher standards than almost everyone else in this league, which is what makes 82 wins so unacceptable. The 2024 Yankees were supposed to be much better and much improved. They obviously added superstar Juan Soto into the lineup this season, who will obviously make a very positive mark. We so far are only a few weeks into spring training, but the Yankees are already going through a tough time with injuries. For the first time since 2019, Gerrit Cole has a long-term injury. He injured his elbow, but he's luckily only expected to miss 1 to 2 months of the season. They dodged a major bullet there, with him not having to get Tommy John surgery. But the regular season hasn't even started yet, and the Yankees' rotation is in jeopardy. Marcus Stroman reportedly declined to be the Yankees' opening day starter due to him not wanting to mess up his routine. Aaron Boone has already said that it will also not be Carlos Rodon. So, okay, it's not Rodon, it's not Stroman, it would have to be Nestor Cortez Jr., who had a .497 ERA last year. The projected opening day rotation has an average of a .510 ERA if you use their 2023 numbers. That is, of course, Rodon, Stroman, Nestor, and Schmidt. Unfortunately though, those are only 4 rotation arms, and we do not 100% know who will the 5th rotation arm be. And here's exactly what I would do if I was New York. I would sign Trevor Bauer for a league minimum contract. First things first, having Cole and Bauer in the same rotation again at some point throughout the year would be sick. And no, it would not be a toxic rivalry, it would instead be a positive rivalry. One where they're able to elevate each other's play just because of how hard that these two dudes train. If you're saying to yourself, but didn't they have beef in college? Well, Trevor Bauer has an answer for you. When Gerrit Cole won the Cy Young last year, he put out this tweet. "Welcome to the club, Gerrit Cole. Finally recognized for something you've deserved for a long time. Pretty damn cool for a pair of college teammates to both win Cy Youngs. For all you baseball historians out there, has that ever happened before, or is this a first?" This tweet clearly showed that they are on good terms, and as he later said, they have been cool for years. A Twitter user also said, "You should join him in the Bronx. Would love you in the rotation." Bauer replied, "Would love to. We did go to the World Series last time we were teammates, after all." Of course, referring to the College World Series that they made together in 2010 at UCLA. I know many of you like the character that Bauer is, and many of you dislike him. But purely looking at the player and the team, Trevor Bauer should be a Yankee in 2024. Most importantly, the Yankees should reignite this rivalry in 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you did. If not, thanks for watching anyway, and peace out.